all these digital soldiers sitting at computers in North Korea and Iran and China, trying to steal our state secrets, bring down our power grid, bring down our water systems, trying to bring down broadcast centers, trying to mess around with emergency response systems. I mean, all kinds of things. Anything else you could think of? Our nuclear power plants. What else am I missing? FAA.
Now, those are all pieces of the critical infrastructure, the communications. I helped on an exercise for Fifth Army, which is Army North, which responds to natural disasters. And we were trying to look at the closest model that we could find to a sustained cyber attack or a sustained critical infrastructure attack. And we came to the conclusion. I was on the team that helped rewrite the SARS-1 or the H1N1 pandemic response plan, and that was a plan that would obviously have global implications. And really, you look at an outbreak scenario that would overwhelm any governmental response, any state law enforcement response, in a matter of depending on the lethality and the spreadability of a particular pandemic outbreak. It just outstrips the country's ability to respond.
Are you saying, Colonel Waldron, that the COVID-19 coming out of Wuhan, in some regards, was a beta test in what's coming next, or what could be coming next?
We were specifically responding to how to plan for a sustained cyber attack, and the team made the observation, and the current active duty soldiers and officers made the observation that within 48 to 72 hours of a sustained cyber attack, it is more severe than a pandemic outbreak, because the populace that you're there to help within 72 to 96 hours or so, that force, that the people that you're there to help become the threat, because they'll start to turn on you, and looking at the change in requirements, the kids and the young folks these days, and I don't mean that derogatory. I've got kids, but 48 hours without their cell phone or a power grid being down, that's significant to them, because they don't have generally the skills, unless they're Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and had wilderness survival training and understand some basic skills. They don't know how to operate outside of Chick-fil-A and fast food, and the ability to go down to a store or get Grubhub. So when all that shuts down, society collapses. And whether it's a sustained cyber attack or a bio attack, let's expand that. Biological warfare is a part of weapons of mass destruction. And, weapons of mass destruction are really anything that can kill and bring significant harm to humans, the biosphere, water supplies, structures. And, those include nuclear, radiological, chemical, bio, and now cyber. Cyber and electronic weapons can be used as weapons of mass destruction. And I believe, and there's recent data that comes out that pretty much documents that COVID-19 is not a naturally occurring pathogen. I'm also on another an honorary member and advisory council for an institute that's discovered up to 150 plus unique DNA strains of SARS-2. SARS-2 is the other name for COVID, and that these sponsors of state terrorism and bad actors are trying to work to develop vaccines for those 150 plus strains. And once those are released, I mean, you look at our southern border in Texas. There's multiple groups of hundreds of folks that are coming up from South America, Central America. There's camps. There was camps in Nicaragua where numerous sub-Saharan Africans and Arabic folks were living. They're learning Spanish and English and being prepared to move up. There's madrasa networks all throughout Mexico, Central South America. There were Iranians that were apprehended crossing the border in Arizona last week. All of those are vectors for introduction of biological warfare agents.